Several years ago, I went to a blacksmithing conference, and the demonstrator made a letter opener with a marble on for the handle part. He made his stock was 1/4 by 3/4, 6 inches long, and he split the end of it 1 inch, and then he drew the tines out 1 3/4, and he had a steel ball bearing. He formed the tongs to fit the ball bearing. He heated the ball bearing in the forge, and when he came out, he took one tine and he bent it out and let the ball bearing fall out, and then he took the marble, he put it in there, and he closed the thing back up. And I've tried that a couple times after that, and ball bearings falling out on the floor and stuff like that there, so I had a little bit of trouble, and I thought there had to be a better way of doing it. And meanwhile, our group I belong to, we got an annual blacksmithing conference, and they have an auction, benefit auction, and I bought a letter opener made by a friend of mine. His name is Paul Rice, and Paul did his letter opener out of 3/8 square stock, and he set it on the diamond. When he was making the blade part, he set it on the diamond, smashed it down, and the corners of the square stock formed part of the blade, and I thought that's pretty neat. And Paul's brother, Joe Rice, he owns a glass factory, and Joe made the marble, and Paul made the letter opener since he was a blacksmith. And I really cherish this here, and so I started making my letter openers out of square stock and doing the same thing. This here is the one Paul made out of 3/8 stock. Here's the ball bearing Joe made, and I measured the tines on it. And the tines is brought out to 1.5 inches, and Joe's marble was 1 1/4 inch diameter. And if you can see, when you're forming this blade, I don't know where you can see it there or not, the corners of that square stock forms the edge of the blade all the way down through there. Now this is a good forging exercise. On a letter opener, you only need the very end of it, an edge on the very end, about 2 inches, to get into the letter and open it up. This here don't have to be perfect like that, but it looks better and everything. And I think it's neat, and it's a good forging exercise, because when you put it on the anvil on the diamond and you smash it down, you move more material on the top part. So you got to flip it over 180 degrees and hit on the other side, and you got to have an even taper. This part here has got to be an even taper, and if you got good hammer control over there, you can create that edge going all the way down that blade. Now, using flat stock, it would be a faster process, but I like the square stock better. The marble is the last thing you put on this as far as forging part of it. I make mine out of 1/4. This is the smallest I make letter openers. 5/16, and I have made some 3/8. I got different size marbles. I use these marbles here, 1 inch diameter, and I have used them up to 1.5 inch diameter. Usually you split the ends of it, and I form these, and then I put them back straight, or have them out. I twist it, and then I form the tapered blade, and then I smash it down. You see the edge coming down through there. And this part here, you got to put it on a belt grinder or something to get that part. Now as long as you got part of that area in that ball, just a little bit of it, these tines are going to catch it. Now you can make these tines longer, and well, you do have to make them longer for bigger marbles, but it don't take much to catch these. This marble here is loose. Usually it'll tighten up on you, it don't make no difference. This one here is tight, that shows. This one here is tight. This is an example that you don't want to do. If you got too long of tines and you use too small marble, you've got this. And you do want this part right here hanging out. You don't want that there because that'll snag on something, you know, in the household or whatever. And you're going to get somebody mad, or you're going to hurt somebody, tear some cloth up or something. So on this one here, I sipped in too small of marble. I'll just I'll heat this up, and I'll take this marble out, and I'll use a bigger marble. Now, if you notice, it don't take much to hold that marble in there. Now, I prefer to make these tines a little longer and wrap it around more. But this is a minimum what you need. 1.25 inches will do this, but you can't make it longer, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, depending on what size marble you got. You can also I made some necklaces and put a piece of rawhide on there. Just punch this and let this swell out. And I had some kids want some of these one time. They asked me if I could make a necklace out of marble. You can see that edge going down through there. That's makes it look better. It's craftsmanship. And you can get marbles. You get on the internet and Google marbles. There's marble factories, and you get different sizes, and a couple of places pretty reasonable on marbles. I've got all my marbles at flea markets and stuff like that, and when I can buy them, you know, cheap, I'll buy them, and I got a whole bunch of them. 7/8 size marble, that's what these are. That's about the smallest I use on these here, on letter openers. You could use smaller, but it don't look right, I don't think. Here's one I already did. Well, this is the way I do it. I split it and I draw these out. Now these don't have to be, these about a 1/4 inch difference. They don't have to be exact. And then I spread this out where my marble, size of marble I'm going to use. Like this is a 7/8. Put it in there, will fit down in there. Then I'll twist this part. And then on this is square stock, and when it comes down here, I'll cut it off about 6 inches, however long you want your letter opener. Then I'll taper this from here. I'll taper this down, even taper. Then I'll set it on the diamond, and I'll smash it down. Then I might hit this with a belt sander at this point. I can do it later. But this is your last forging operation. When you put the marble in there, you form this, and I'll show you in a minute. Might have to do it on another segment, but because I'm trying to keep this short. The marble can go on up in higher, but if you set it in here, it helps hold that marble in there like that on that crafts part. You notice this is Paul's is way down in here. It helps hold it right in here. It don't have to be. It can be way on up there. This is a piece I roughed out just to show. This is a 5/16 stock, square stock, and I split this 1.25 inches, and I'll be drawing these out. On the other end, I went ahead and I did a little bit different. I put this on the anvil, half face bowls, 1.25 inches. I smashed it down where the width of it's going to be wider, and then I split it. And then I started drawing these out. You don't have. You can do it any way you want to. This is sitting on a diamond. You're putting it down, smashing it down on the anvil, and more material is going to move on this side. So you got to flip this 180 degrees, the blade, smash down the other side, and you want these corners of that square side to be on the same plane. On either flat stock or square stock, you only need about 2 inches for the blade to get into the letter and open it. 3/8 stock, split it 1.25 inches, draw them out 2 5/8 minimum for 1.25 inch marble. For smaller marble, you can have this a little bit shy. For larger marble, you want it plus. On the tines for 2 3/4 to 3 inch for large marbles, that's what you need. Marbles, the range I use is from 7/8 diameter up to 1 3/8 diameter. The public, sometimes they are more interested in the type of marble you got in your letter opener than the letter opener itself. You don't need this here. This is a bending fixture I use for all kinds of stuff, but I use this for this purpose here. This is a 1 inch sleeve right in there, and this is how I form my crouch in there. You can use just a regular, just a 1 inch piece of round to do the same thing, and this is what I use to form the size of marble, whatever size marble I'm using, put in here. This is what I use.